Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Own the Moment podcast. My name is TJ Lasig. I'm the host and co founder here at OTM. And last week, for the first time in a long time, we heard directly from the man himself, Roham, the founder and CEO of Dapper Labs, joined LG Doucet and Luke, aka Dumbo, on the First Mint X account to talk through an update on Dapper Labs, Flow, NBA Top Shot, the new account linking system that they are rolling out, and a ton more. So lots to unpack here for sure. In case you missed it, I actually posted a thread on X, aka Twitter, and summarized the conversation here. So you can give me a follow over there at TJL5124DFS. Check out the thread. Lots of kind of good info in there. Also, if you enjoy it, appreciate you hitting it with a like, hitting it with a repost. And just go ahead, check that out. Again, my handle is at TJL5124DFS. But then I'm also going to summarize the conversation here on this podcast, walk through the main topics that Roham discussed, share my thoughts and my takeaways on kind of everything I heard and how I'm interpreting it. So should be a great conversation. Before we dive into that, though, a quick plug here that free Rumble is back. That's right. Completely free Rumble. Use your NFL all day moments to create a fantasy football lineup every single week. Compete totally free for your share of $2,500 in prizes distributed directly as Dapper Balance. Excited to be running this contest in partnership with Dapper Labs. So make sure you check that out. OTMNFT.com/rumble/lobby. Completely free. And also, we've teased out our Iron Man bonus, which is going to be a little extra incentive, extra reward for people that are entering the contest every single week. So again, check that out. Enter the contest. It does help us as well. The more people that we can get into these contests, the better, the more likely we are to continue offering free utility opportunities like this in the future. So otmnft.com/rumble/lobby. Make sure you enter every week. All right, let's do it up. Lots to unpack and, can kind of really start to piece together everything that's going on at Dapper Labs and at Flow and the bigger picture that we are working towards here. So the way I'm going to break this down is there were 5 main topics that were covered during the spaces. So going to walk through each of those. Roham gave an update on Dapper Labs, an update on the Flow blockchain, then did a bit of a deep dive into account linking, which is kind of clearly their big priority right now. He then also discussed the future of the Dapper wallet, specifically with regards to the new account linking. And then lastly, provided a bit of insight into the 3, 6, and 12-month roadmaps for Dapper, for Flow, for NBA Top Shot, and kind of ties it all together. So here we go. All right. So we started off the spaces with LG, again, who was the host from the First Mint, asking Roham to kind of do a bit of a review of the past and give an update on the current state of Dapper Labs. So Roham starts this off by just kind of acknowledging the macro challenges that have happened in the NFT and crypto ecosystem over the past 12 months and really talks about how Dapper scaled too fast. They scaled too fast, both in terms of their team and the amount of hiring they were doing, but then also in the number of things that they were trying to do. He talked a little bit about that kind of like land grab mentality that was going on. There was lots of different competitors locking down different partnerships, different IP, things of that nature. And Roham kind of at the end of the day ends up saying, quote, "It was too early to scale." So essentially acknowledging that Dapper tried to scale maybe before the market was ready for Dapper to even attempt to scale. And so as a result of all of that, for the past about year, Roham talked about how the priority has been three things. Number one, reset the business. Number two, turn around the team. And then number three, get back to the basics. So really, again, that theme of, all right, we tried to scale a little bit too fast here. Let's rein ourselves in, reevaluate where we are, and then push forward in a more lean, more kind of slow and steady type of pace. As a result of that, Dapper has become this more lean team and has been shipping product features more frequently. This is where Roham cites three examples in particular. He cites audio for NFL All Day moments. He cites the new IP rights that just came out for NBA Top Shot collectors. And then lastly, the mobile app for Top Shot Marketplace going into testing. Through all of this, Roham closes out by saying the team is focused on thinking through the actual customer problems that they are trying to solve for here, and then making sure that they are getting those solutions across the finish line. So that was the first segment on a update of Dapper Labs. Now, number two is an update on the Flow blockchain. And Roham starts this off by noting that operationally, Flow has been operating independently from Dapper Labs and the Dapper Labs products. And also mentions that Flow was not impacted by any of these Dapper team restructures that went down. This is going to end up being one of my three key takeaways when it's all said and done. But this is kind of the beginning of this separation that Roham is going to kind of continually go back to as a theme here, of that separation between Dapper and Flow. We're going to talk more about that throughout the rest of this podcast. But again, clear kind of separation between Dapper and Flow. And that is certainly one of the three themes and three takeaways that I took away from this conversation. All right, so now in terms of the update on Flow, this is where Roham really dives into this new concept of account linking and why it's a big step forward in terms of unlocking the Flow ecosystem. Now, we do get a bit in the weeds and technical here, but going to try my best to summarize it in a simple way. How account linking will work is that users are going to be able to connect all of their wallets. So think like Dapper Wallet, I don't know, Blockdo Wallet, right? All of these different wallets that exist on the Flow blockchain. And with one click, connect them all so that then you can access all of your assets across all of your wallets in one place. So let's kind of talk through an example. In today's world, say you want to rent a moment, an NBA Top Shot moment on Floaty, right? In order to do that, that moment needs to be removed from your NBA Top Shot account and into another third-party wallet. And so when that happens, now that moment exists in the new third-party wallet, but it is no longer sitting in your Top Shot account. And again, this kind of is because of how the Dapper wallet functions and, you know, this kind of quote unquote walled garden aspect, which becomes a theme from Roham that we'll talk about again later in this podcast. But because of that, the moment either sits in the Dapper wallet or it sits in another wallet. Now, in the future world with account linking, you will be able to have this kind of master wallet, or think of it as a parent wallet, which we find out later is going to be called the Flow reference wallet. But in that parent wallet, you will then be able to link all of your different wallets together under one master or parent account, right? So now I've linked up my Dapper wallet. I've linked up any of the other wallets that I own. They all roll up into my Flow reference wallet parent account. And now I can access the assets that I own in all of those different wallets in one place and without moving the assets from one wallet to another. So now when I go to Floaty, I don't actually need to take my NBA Top Shot moment out of my Dapper wallet in order to rent it out or have someone take out a loan on it. All of that becomes more seamless through this account linking process. Overall, with this, their goal is to, quote, create an open, composable ecosystem where any developer can build anything for the users in the ecosystem. And now here's where we kind of start to see this clear focus on the developer experience and really this push from Flow to get more developers building applications on Flow and choosing Flow as their blockchain of choice. And now, this makes total sense to me. We've seen the focus on Flow hackathons and things like that in recent months. And that is certainly a theme of Roham in this conversation. So that's the update on Flow. And again, here's where you start to see two themes that emerge throughout the rest of the conversation, which is number one, the breaking down of barriers between Dapper, the walled garden, and Flow. And then number two, this desire to get more developers building on the Flow blockchain. Okay. Question number 3. LG asked Roham to double click a little further and provide some examples on account linking and what that can be used for. Here's where Roham starts by first shouting out the Floaty team, and specifically Austin from Floaty. Austin actually wrote the contracts for account linking. So shout out to Austin. Austin, someone that I've had the pleasure of working with in the past. Great guy, super, super sharp developer, and definitely one of the leaders, if not the leader, when it comes to development on the Flow blockchain. So shout out to Austin and the rest of the Floaty team for making all of this happen. And so in response to this, Roham gives 3 example use cases for how account linking may be used in the future. Number 1 is this idea of fractionalizing moments. So imagine a future world where multiple users can join in together and bid on an expensive moment, right? A Series 1 cosmic LeBron James moment. Through account linking, multiple users can go in and bid on this expensive moment and each own a share of the moment as a result, right? In the current state, not possible to do that, at least not in an on-chain manner. Number 2, here is where Roham mentions the idea of a fantasy game. So you could imagine a fantasy sports product where users connect their external wallets, they access all of their moments through that. Maybe they are even able to risk or wager one moment against another user, again, on chain, so that whoever wins the contest wins the moment, and it automatically happens. It gets transferred from one wallet to another via the wager. Maybe they could earn tokens while playing this fantasy game, etc., etc. Tons of different options that get unlocked there. So if anybody knows anyone out there that has been building fantasy games around NFL All Day and NBA Top Shot, let me know. And then number 3, the final example he gives when it comes to account linking is the ability to drop tokens directly into users' accounts. So today, say if at Own the Moment, we wanted to distribute a bunch of Flow to our users. In order to do that, we would need to work through Dapper, through the Dapper wallet, in order to make that token airdrop happen. In the future world, with the account linking infrastructure, Own the Moment would be able to directly drop tokens into the community accounts and the user accounts without any need to work with Dapper Labs, without any need for approvals, all verifiable on-chain in that decentralized manner, again, powered by this account linking infrastructure. And then Roham kind of closes out the account linking topic with a quote: "This is a commitment from Dapper Labs to build in this open way and a call to action that this is the time where the next generation of apps can be built with good user experience and openness at its core. So again, we see that same kind of theme and desire of call to action to get more developers building on Flow, and can really tell that they feel that Roham feels they have built the pipelines to enable this, and now it's a call to action for builders to leverage this infrastructure that has been created to continue innovating and building new applications in and around the Flow ecosystem. All right, so topic number 4, here's where we start to get into the Dapper wallet, right? So LG asks Roham, okay, given all of this stuff going on with account linking, how will this impact the Dapper wallet, and what is the future of the Dapper wallet? So again, here's where kind of more than ever, we really start to see Roham create this separation between Dapper and the Dapper wallet specifically, and Flow. So Roham in this segment refers to the Dapper wallet several times as a quote unquote walled garden, and really expresses a desire to break down these types of walls. And in doing so, create a more seamless customer experience, but also create more liquidity for the Flow ecosystem as a whole. So definitely sense from Roham that he feels the protective nature of the Dapper wallet is in some ways restricting the potential liquidity happening on the Flow blockchain. And by breaking down these walls, it opens up liquidity and kind of creates a more open market in terms of how assets that live on the Flow chain will be valued. Here's where we get kind of 2 quotes that reiterate this. Roham encourages us to, quote, think of Dapper as the enabling technology, not the gate. And then reiterates this a second time, saying, you will see Dapper as less of a gate and payment solution and more as a discovery layer. So really, Dapper and Flow are focused on building this kind of underlying platform, the underlying tech, and don't want the Dapper wallet to get in the way of that underlying foundation that they are trying to build with the Flow blockchain. And then Roham dives into the 2 kind of key aspects that help in achieving these goals. So number 1, and I mentioned this before, but the Flow reference wallet. So this is that new non-custodial wallet that is going to be launching as a part of account linking. Roham also refers to this as the first crypto wallet that really turns your phone into a hardware wallet. So we kind of see a lot of focus on mobile, and account linking and the Flow reference wallet are both intended to build for this future world where 2 to 3 years out, people are using mobile and blockchain at the same time, and it is powered by things like account linking and things like this Flow reference wallet. And being able to do all of that without even users needing to know that that's going on. That was another definite key theme, is Roham wants the front end experience to feel no different than it does in any normal Web 2 application today. It just so happens that the Web 3 tech and blockchain is powering things behind the scenes, but it's completely removed from the front end user experience. And then the second aspect that Roham mentions as being key to this Dapper wallet future is, again, the breaking down of liquidity walls. Breaking down of liquidity walls between Dapper and the rest of the Flow ecosystem, but also breaking down liquidity walls between Flow and other blockchains, specifically Ethereum. Roham talks a little bit about their goal to build increased liquidity between things like Flow and Ethereum, and by, again, breaking down these walls and creating more liquidity, theoretically then increasing the potential value of the entire Flow ecosystem and the assets living in the Flow ecosystem as a whole. And the final topic, final question, LG asks Roham, what does the roadmap look like for the next 3, 6, 12 months here? And on brand with the conversation, Roham answers this in 2 ways. He provides a roadmap and priorities for Dapper, and then separately provides a roadmap and priorities for Flow. That separation is a theme. On the Dapper roadmap side, he mentions 2 main priorities. Number 1, he talks about making the core experience awesome for the core existing community. So saying that again, core experience awesome for the existing community. The goal here is to go deeper and make that experience great before attempting to go any more wide. So, to me, I interpret that as, all right, we are focused on the current product market fit of things like Top Shot and All Day. We want to do right by the existing community. We want to take care of that first before we try to further scale, before we try to further get new users, etc., etc. And then the number 2 thing on Dapper's roadmap is the importance of mobile. Specifically, the goal of bringing the NBA Top Shot mobile app on par with the website experience. Roham and the Dapper team believe that mobile is going to be critical in the mass onboarding of NBA fans to Top Shot, and it's certainly clear that mobile, and specifically the NBA Top Shot mobile app, is a major priority within the Dapper ecosystem. Roham now goes on to talk about the Flow roadmap. And on the Flow side, they are currently focused on addressing 2 main problems that exist today. Going to be the 2 main problems that we've already heard as a theme. Number 1, breaking down the barriers of liquidity. These are being addressed by A, account linking, B, the new Flow reference wallet, and then C, these efforts to create bridges between Flow and Ethereum. So that's the number 1 thing on the Flow roadmap, breaking down liquidity barriers. And then number 2, the theme that we've seen time and time again throughout this conversation, making it easy for crypto developers to choose Flow as their blockchain of choice. Can really get this sense that Roham and the Flow team believe that the infrastructure that Flow offers is a game changer for developers. Now it's just a matter of getting these devs actually exposed to the Flow blockchain ecosystem, to the infrastructure and coding language of Cadence, and all of that kind of stuff. And this is going to continue to be a focus and a priority of the Flow team. Roham then closes things out by acknowledging that they need to, quote, fix broken promises of the past before moving forward. Roham also says another quote, the core promises of the platform need to be true. They're focused on delivering those promises to the existing community. I'm sure that is music to everyone's ears. But, at the end of the day, the actions need to align to the words. We've heard the words before. We've heard that the promises will be fulfilled, yada, yada, yada. It is what it is. The past is the past. For me, I'm only looking forward. I think that there was a lot of great stuff said in this conversation, and I'll be sitting back, observing, and seeing if the actions that take place in the coming weeks, in the coming months, in the coming years match with the words that are being said. And at the very end, we even get a little tease from Roham. He hints at the NBA Top Shot pack marketplace is in testing and may be coming soon. He also ever so slightly acknowledges the potential for Top Shot to be coming out of beta. So I know those are 2 things that the community is absolutely dying for. Again, I'll be sitting back, watching patiently. No rush, in my opinion, but I'm going to be watching, keeping an eye on everything going on. And there we have it. That's the summary of the conversation that took place. Overall, it was definitely great to hear from Roham directly. And yeah, just kind of to provide a quick summary on my takeaways. And I've got kind of three main things. Number one is this idea that Dapper and Flow are separate entities. Number two is the clear priority that they have on mobile and on account linking. And then number three is just that Roham loves NBA Top Shot. And I'll get into that in a second. So number one, thinking about Flow and Dapper as separate entities, like this is something that as users, we need to kind of start to wrap our head around, right? It's a little bit confusing because to date, the two have been very intertwined, but like at its core, two totally separate things are happening here. You've got the Flow blockchain, which is trying to really build this kind of open source playground for developers where developers can come in and build on-chain applications and experiences that the rest of the ecosystem can then use. And then on the other side, you've got Dapper, who's working with partners, working with IP owners, implementing their own walleting system, right? And trying to then bring all of these new experiences to their partners' customer base through the blockchain technology, all happening in the background. Now, again, there's certainly a ton of overlap still between what's going on in Flow and what's going on with Dapper. But like the way I see it is that the goals of Flow as a blockchain is kind of much more broad and wider than the specific goals of Dapper and the products and partners that come directly from Dapper. So Dapper and Flow, separate things. Dapper is not Flow. Flow is not Dapper. Different products, different teams, different priorities. Create that separation in your mind. I think it will help things make a little more sense at a high level. Number two was this, again, heavy focus on mobile and account linking. Mobile has definitely been a theme that we've heard from Roham a couple of times now. This session, certainly no different. It's clear that he sees the future of this space happening via mobile, which I mean makes sense. It's where we spend a lot of our time. And at Dapper and at Flow, they're building these pipelines to be in a great position once blockchain does start to go more mobile. They're thinking 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years out and putting those pipelines in place. And again, their goal is to do this in a way where all of the blockchain stuff is hidden behind the scenes. There's normal A+ user experience on the front end. And again, in achieving these mobile goals, the NBA Top Shot app and this idea of account linking are the two massive building blocks that make mobile possible. So number two priority there, focus on mobile and specifically account linking. And then number three, to close things out, my final takeaway is that Roham loves NBA Top Shot. Above all else, it's clear to me, Roham, he's got a soft spot for Top Shot and probably always will, right? It makes sense. Top Shot is his baby, and he's aware that things have been rocky, but you can tell he's determined to make this happen. He's determined to continue building and to do whatever he can and whatever the team can to make do on their promises to the existing community. I'm not saying that means it's going to happen, but you can sense it in his voice that he wants it to happen. When he talks about Top Shot, he has that twinkle in his eye, if you will. And I'm excited to see what the future holds. I think to a certain extent, we all have that same feeling towards Top Shot. We all love it at the end of the day. That's why there's so much passion in here, in this space, from the community. And we're on to the next season. We are now less than a month away from NBA opening tip-off, which is just crazy. But anyways, there we have it. Quick summary there of the conversation with Roham. Let me know what you think. Feel free to reach out to me directly. If you have any thoughts, opinions, anything you agree with, disagree with, definitely want to keep this conversation going. And like I said, continue to watch from the sidelines, see what's going on, see if the actions align with the words, and keep things moving forward. So, final call, if you have not already, if you've made it to the end of this podcast, please go ahead, check out the thread that I posted at TJL5124DFS on X/Twitter. Give it a like, give it a repost. And until then, we'll be back with another podcast, I'm sure, in the future. But talk to you all later. Good luck in your collecting. Good luck in your free Rumble contests. See y'all next time. Peace.